All right, Taurus, welcome back. I gotta turn the volume up. Welcome back. This is your monthly reading for the month of March, or your read for the month of March. But take it as it resonates, even if you're watching this after March. All right. By the way, I just noticed that bag in the background. That is not product placement. GoPuff does not sponsor this channel. They can go puff themselves. Let me just put it that way. But anyways, here's your read here. I'm gonna get the tarot at first, and then we'll get into the oracle now. Quite the start I'm seeing thus far. You both have a king and a queen present. Before I choose all your cards, right when I was about to start your read, or like the moments leading up to me starting your reading, there's a dude out here on a snowblower essentially, and I was stalling for time, to be honest with you, just so he can get off and stuff, so that sound won't be all up in the video. As soon as I started the read, he moved to a different location, but he was there just outside my window for the longest, and he just had the thing revving up. He wasn't he had the salt on the sidewalk, but he wasn't really doing much else, and there's more sidewalk than the spot he was standing at. I say all that just to say, maybe part of your message is to, just get started despite what's going on around you. Maybe that's a message here, but we have your cards, at least, the first 6 that I have here. And like I said, I think there's a lot of abundance coming toward your way. Depends on how you manifest and move toward all this in March. But, we start off with the Queen of Pentacles here. Someone who's very much nurturing, especially when it comes to their finances. And I do see that being a thing for you. Nurturing your finances, probably nurturing just other aspects of your life as well. Yeah, there is some work that needs to be done, but I do think that ultimately there are strides being made here for you, Taurus. There are strides being made. After the Queen of Pentacles, we have the King of Wands right after the Queen of Pentacles. So not necessarily, I guess, the King of Pentacles, but Queen, King showing up, which is still, good to see. This is someone who is bold enough to face their challenges. So, especially with you, Taurus, I do think that this is a great... at the very least, it'll serve as great homework for you for the month of March and going forward again for the rest of the year. If you're not facing a challenge right now, just be mindful that you not only have the capability to do so, but that Queen of Pentacles right before it. Again, just for you to be kinder to yourself as well, while you're facing said challenge. And I think this is something to do with your patience, or maybe lack thereof, or you trying to become a more patient individual here. And your next 3 cards essentially are why I say that, one of them being the 4 of Cups here. Again, I see someone, whenever I see this card, I see someone who is actually getting blessings, is actually getting gifts from the universe, is actually, even at times, getting what they've prayed for, what they've asked for, and they're still not satisfied because it's not looking exactly like how, in their mind, they want it to look. It's not, it's like they asked for, I don't know, they asked for this is gonna come to mind or whatever. If you don't wear dresses, that's fine. I don't wear dresses either. But it's someone asking for, I just want a dress that looks like this. I want this type of dress. Let me put it that way. And let's just say, I'm gonna just say it, like it's like asking, like fantasizing about wanting a wedding dress, right? And probably if you have thought about that, you've thought about the type of dress that you wanted, you know how it looks and everything, and well, you are going to get a wedding dress. It's like, well, you got that wedding dress, but it's not exactly looking like how you thought it would look, or you hoped it would look within your mind. You want it, maybe it has those little old school shoulder pads, whatever, or whatever I did, and the dress that you fantasize your shoulders was out, or maybe they had those pads on them or whatever, right? Or maybe the veil didn't look exactly like the dress is fine, it's perfect, right? But the veil is a bit darker, or not as see-through as it was in your mind, or vice versa, right? It's not as, I guess, cloudier than it was in your mind, and it's pretty see-through. And then, like, you, again, someone in that situation of the Four of Cups, instead of looking at the blessing that was given to them, instead of looking at it from the angle of, look, yeah, the dress isn't necessarily perfect from head to toe, but guess what? I'm getting married. Guess what? I have guess what? For the most part, this dress is looking fine. Guess what? I'm around loved ones. Guess what? I'm doing this thing that I've always dreamt about doing. Instead of looking at it from that angle, it's, this day sucks because not everything is perfect. And I know Tauruses are like very much, again, of the mind and stuff. So I feel as though that is, again, yet a trap that Tauruses can fall into. Me being a Taurus moon, definitely I've had moments like that. So I understand that. But again, that Four of Cups is just a reminder that ease up a bit. Ease up. Like, not everything is going to show up as perfect, but if you are still getting what you've wanted, then why make a fuss? Why make a big fuss about small, minute details of, well, the dress didn't look this way, or the veil didn't look this way, or the pair of shoes didn't look this way, or whatever the case, right? And it's like, sure, but how about everything else that you've prayed for? It's happening now. Everything that you've ever wanted is happening now. And yet, because it didn't look exactly like how you planned it out in your mind, you're willing to ruin all of that? Like, you really got to think about that from that angle, Now, your next card, being the Hierophant. I love this card. I've said this multiple times. I've said this, I think, every time this card has showed up in anybody's reading, whether it's yours, whether it's mine as a Virgo, whether it's Aquarius, it's Cancer, whoever, right? I've always said this is, and I will still maintain that the Hierophant is my favorite card, whether it is upright as it is here, or whether it's reversed. I still maintain that this is my favorite card within the tarot deck, and that's going to be the case, I want to say, forever. That's the stubborn Hierophant in me saying that, right? But in this situation here, I don't think that, one, it's still my favorite card, but I don't think that it's serving you well, Taurus, to have this stubborn, my way or the highway type of mentality, or stubborn, I don't want to say closed-minded, but more so, I don't want to listen to anybody else's ideas on, again, how things should go about. Like this. So yeah, in a way that is kind of closed-minded. I don't want to listen to anybody else's ideas on how this should play out, because again, in my own head, I had it play out in this way, and because it's not playing out in this way, I'm kind of upset about that. I'm kind of upset about it. The Four of Cups is not like sad and super upset, but is definitely not like joy and happiness. This definitely is someone, again, who one can say someone who is of the Four of Cups energy is not someone who is appreciative of, again, the blessings that they're getting at this moment in time, you know? So yeah, be mindful of that as well. Got another Cups card, the Eight of Cups in reverse. This is someone who fears change, someone who is small-minded as well. And again, I think that you're liable to fall in this trap of things aren't perfect, as in things are not looking like how I wanted them to look in my mind. And you run the risk of just losing all this blessing. Like I said, you have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands that showed up right afterward. After the Eight of Cups, you have the 10 of Pentacles here. You know? I brought up the aspect of a wedding dress. I'm not saying you're going to get married in March. I'm not saying, let me try to get that, you know, see if you can see that. But I'm not saying you're going to get married in March. I'm not predicting you're going to get married this year. If it's applicable to you, it's applicable to you. If not, you know, don't try to force things, all right? But this is really why I use the analogy of the wedding dress earlier, right? Because this is family, like coming together as a family, family abundance as well, but just a strong, close family. It's got the traditional meaning as well, like family tradition, or just doing things like having a traditional mindset has that same type of meaning as the Hierophant here. So even if you are, in a way, being a bit stubborn about, you know, how things are, how you want things to play out in your life, you still have another card here that is telling you that it's very much okay for you to be a traditionalist if you are, because I feel as though I'm speaking to a Taurus who's more so wanting that traditional, you know, you're a traditionalist. There's nothing wrong with that. Meaning, when I say that, is like you probably do want the wife, kids, or husband, kids, the big family where, you know, the grandparents of yours kids are, you know, around, you know, as you see here, there's the dogs and everything, like, you know, and then y'all got the money. You know, y'all are financially well. It's like, if that's what you want, that's great. And I think this Queen of Pentacles, that being the start of this read, that is somebody who is doing what she can. And I'm saying she because it's Queen of Pentacles, but take it as it resonates, of course. But male, female, whatever, whoever. But that is someone who is nurturing their finances to get to a place like this because they have goals and dreams and aspirations. But I feel like you probably have it in your mind, as that Four of Cups is symbolic of, and then that Eight of Cups in reverse is symbolic of. You probably have it in your mind of how you're supposed to make this money. And it's like, I'm not saying you have to like your job. Trust me, I'm the last person that's going to ever tell anybody that they should like their job, you know. But, you know, if you got it and it's a way of you making your money, making things meet, making ends meet, and making sure that you achieve the goals that you want to achieve, both financially and in life, then if it's not something that is like a soul-sucking, just depressive type of thing, which I don't see here at all. I think the issues that you might be having with the job are just the job not being as perfect as possible. I mean, we can pull, I want to pull at the bottom of the deck and see what shows up. The 9 of Wands here, resilience and courage here. So that's what I feel as though that's a message of what you really need, is that resilience and courage to get past whatever imperfections that either this job has, or whatever imperfections that's happening within your life right now. Because I don't see a situation, Taurus, where you're never going to achieve the goals that you desire. I feel as though that and I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not going to put a timeline on it. I'm not a fortune teller, but I do feel as though you're closer to your desires than you actually believe you are. And again, I think what's really holding you back is really yourself. This idea of perfection. It's the fantasy that you have in your head about how the situation is supposed to look, and because it doesn't look exactly to the T like how it was in your mind, now in a way, like you're halting the elevation of all this progress. In a way, you're halting it, or you have the potential to halt it. Whereas again, it's like, yeah, it probably doesn't look exactly again to a T of what you want or how you want it to look, but it's still happening for you. So why not relish in that? Why not take pride in that? Why not take happiness in that? So any last message for Taurus? Overall, I do believe that this is a great read for you. Let's see. Any last tarot? Boom. The Star. All right. Not going to hold it up for too long because YouTube, but you're shining. Things are going to happen for you, Taurus. You know what I'm saying? Great things are going to happen for you. I'm going to need you to get out your own head. All right. Let's see what the Oracle is saying. What the Oracle is going to say, because, yeah. Okay. Very much fitting for the winter time we're in right now. The card that you got today is Stop and Reflect. Pause in your journey to appreciate how far you've come and where you're headed. Exactly what I was saying. Well, not exactly what I was saying, but part of what I was saying. What I was really trying to get through your head is, again, just be mindful of how you're getting in, how you could potentially get in the way of everything that you desire. And it seems as though that what you're desiring and what you're working toward, it's not going to waste. That you are going to, you're destined to have this abundance here, but just stop trying to treat this journey as a all or nothing perfect type of, like, if it doesn't look exactly how you imagine it in your head, it doesn't go that way, then nothing happens. It's not meant to happen, or it's not going to happen for you. That's not what's the case here. I truly believe that for you. So take the time you need to reflect on how far you've come, despite any imperfections. And yeah, that's what I have for you this month. Appreciate you for being here. Until next time, until next video. You see me when you see me. Take care.